What up, my homies? Okay, I've got some more tips for you today. Okay, so y'all are engaged. Now what? Right? Now what? This IGTV is going to be all about like the first steps after you get engaged into what the heck you do to plan a wedding. This is so hard. And there's not always the most resources about like literally the first step that you should take when you're planning a wedding. So I broke it down for you. There's 5 quick steps on like exactly what you should do so then you make sure to get what you want out of your day before you even know what you want. Because really, do you know what you want? No. These are the steps that Derek and I literally followed. So hopefully it helps you. Okay, so first things first, you got a ring on your finger, you posted it on Instagram, you're lit. You need to sit down with your fiance, your brandly new minted fiance, and chat about what the heck's important to us. Like, what even sounds good to like have for your wedding? Are the photos important? They live forever, so kind of. Do I really want a videographer? I don't know. Do I want to spend that much? Who knows? What if I really love this DJ? Do we need to like see if they're available now? Do you even do that? And then, do we want cake, donuts? I don't really like donuts. What if we got ice cream? What if we made churros and had a taco bar? Who knows? So these are all kind of questions that you got to chat about a little bit. So that's like the first thing ever that I would do. Buy a notepad, write down your like top 10 things that matter the most to you. Do you really like a certain color? Do you want to get married in the fall? Figure that all out. Then once you kind of have that idea, think about your budget. So sometimes people put the budget before what you really want, but I don't know how you can make a good budget if you really don't know what you want. Because how could you make a budget if you're like, let's just say this. And then you're like, oh crap, just kidding. We need to add $2,000 here or this here because I really want this photographer, but also this DJ and So decide what you want, really think about it, and then pick your budget. So are you paying for the wedding? Are your parents paying for the wedding? Is it a little bit of both? You don't even know. What the heck? Decide that first. Write down how much you think you should spend. Look online. Ask your friends how much they spent on their wedding. They might not want to tell you. And to be honest, sometimes parents kind of know, but at the same time, they got married like 20 years ago. So everything's a little bit different now. If you have an older sister or a brother that have already gotten married, you're in luck because they probably know what's going on, which happened to me. But decide what's important to you. Decide on your budget. Okay, and then you need to go through and start looking at vendors. Find them on Instagram, Facebook, look up people's reviews, look on the Knot or Wedding Wire, ask friends. If you've been to a wedding and you like super duper loved a live band, ask them if they're free. You know, or be like, hey, are you really booked this year? Do you have any certain dates? I would say like that's super important to look at. If you, when you go through your what's important to me list are like, oh my God, this is our like 10-year anniversary on October 17th. We have to get married that day. Then that's your date. So then that's set in stone. And then when you start to ask other vendors, it could get a little tricky and you might not get your first person, but you're prioritizing your date above your DJ and your caterer. Okay? You got me? So it's like this hierarchy of needs of what's the most important to you and what are things you need to get done. And then you just go from there. So if it's your date, that's great. You know it and stick to it. So make sure that it's going to be okay with you. Maybe if you don't get your first choice for a lot of those things because of your date. Like you might have to ask 7 photographers before you find one that's free on your date and fits your vibe. And that's totally chill. Make sure when you're communicating with all vendors that you're very open about being like, hey, I'm shopping around, or, oh my God, we want you. We'll do anything to have you. Because if you send that to a vendor and they have 2 people that inquired for the same date within like the same day, they're probably going to pick you if you're their top choice, you know? Or like if you want them more than anything and the other couple's just like, oh, I don't know. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, I want to work with this couple that wants to work with me, you know? So totally makes sense. Makes sense. Holy cow. So those are really important things. The next thing you should always do whenever you think about making a decision, or if you found somebody really awesome on Instagram, or you really like this florist, or what the heck flowers do you use in January, right? I don't know. Ask a florist. Make sure to keep your partner in the loop. I know that sometimes your partner might not be totally in the vibe of wedding planning, but they do get a say, and honestly, they're probably halfway paying for it too. So make sure to keep them in the loop. And also, if your parents are paying for it, you truly do need to ask them if there's anything important that they really want. Like if there's a certain photo they want taken, or if it's really important that you do like a father-daughter dance or a mother-son dance at the wedding. Really anything in there that could be a traditional family thing, ask them just so you know, so then you can tell your vendors about maybe doing those. So start booking all your vendors once you can, because they're going to book up fast, especially if your date is a popular one. Now, how you can figure out if your date's a popular date is if it looks cool, like if the numbers line up. So if it's like 6/20/20, like that's super popular, duh. And 10/20/20, super popular this year, because the dates sound cool and look cool, and you can easily remember those forever. But then there's going to be some dates, like if you want to get married and cut a little bit of costs, vendors are going to be a little bit cheaper on Fridays or Sundays if you get married versus a Saturday wedding. So those are just some things to think about too, because I'm all about balling on a budget. I don't know if you guys are, but I definitely am. So those are some things to consider when planning / budgeting. And if you get married in like the off season, so in the Midwest, that's usually the winter time, things will be less money because people are looking for work at that time because it's their off season too. All people in the wedding community, you'll probably find a venue for a little bit less, or a photographer or a caterer even, because they're kind of just like, what do we do? Do we just do our nails, drink some wine, do nothing? Hopefully we made enough in the summer, right? So those are some tips I have for you. And then definitely get a Pinterest board, start getting all your ideas for invites, yada, yada, yada. There's so many things that go in there, and I'm going to be dropping a free planning checklist very soon. There will be like a download link on my website that you can instantly get it, and I will also be having like an Instagram story about it. So you guys will have to click that, because that's like knowledge like we're just talking about right now, but actually written out. So I hope this helped. It helped me when I was first planning my wedding, because I'm technically still planning a wedding right now, October 3rd, 2020. I'm getting married to the love of my life, Derek, and I literally cannot wait. So, rundown of what we just talked about. Budget. Well, write the things down that you most want in the whole wide world for your wedding. Figure out your budget. Contact vendors. Ask your parents if they're paying for it, or whoever's paying for it. If it's like Great Aunt Sally, make sure that she has a little bit of a say. Not a huge say, but a little bit, because that's just common courtesy. That's my personal opinion. And then create that Pinterest board and get popping on there. Okay, I hope this helps. Have a great day. See you guys later. DM me with any questions.